Sir, I have myself full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected, and if the best arrangements are made, as they are being made, we shall prove ourselves once more able to defend our island home, to ride out the storm of war, and to outlive the menace of tyranny, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it were subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on the struggle until, in God's good time, the new world, with all its power and might, steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the old.
March the 6th, 1945, the day the T-26A3 Pershing got famous. By this time the German army was in full retreat, and at last World War II was nearing its end. Hundreds of thousands of German soldiers had already surrendered, but for some die-hard Nazis, surrender was not an option. The battle for Cologne in Germany had been hard fought, the city almost flattened by continuous Allied bombing. This once beautiful cathedral city, almost bombed out of existence by the Lancasters and B-17 flying fortresses of Bomber Command. The cathedral, although incredibly intact amongst the shattered buildings, now a tattered ghost of its former glory, having been hit by at least 90 Allied bombs. The remaining German forces were ordered to retreat across the River Rhine and blow up all remaining bridges. One German tank commander, however, refused to leave guarding the last remaining bridge until it could be demolished. Once accomplished, the last tank in Cologne, the German Panther, would go hunting. Low on fuel, the Panther crept slowly along the shattered streets around the 800-year-old cathedral. Suddenly, the Panther spotted a column of 3 American Sherman tanks heading directly for it along the side street. The Panther gunner picked off the first 2 with a simplicity akin to crushing an ant with one's boot. A third would have easily become victim to the Panther's relentless onslaught had it not retreated into cover. Under normal circumstances, and had fuel been abundant, the Panther would have given chase and caught the Sherman with ease. Lessons learned from the Panther's bigger brothers and sisters meant that she had much better power-to-weight ratio than the Tiger I or the King Tiger, the Panther's 100mm armour being more than enough to stop anything the Shermans could throw at her, even at point-blank range. The German Panther commander decided to wait outside the cathedral, conserving what little fuel he had left, safe in the knowledge that there was truly little a Sherman could do to win the day. Unbeknownst to the German commander, however, there was something few German soldiers had seen before prowling the ruined streets of Cologne. One of the first of a new breed of American heavy tank to come off the production line had made its way to Europe, and it was about to meet its match. The remaining Sherman that had escaped the Panther's claws radioed the crew of Eagle 7, the call sign of a brand new T-26A3 Pershing, of E Company, 32nd Armoured Regiment, 3rd Armoured Division, attached to the 1st Army, 12th Army Group, commanded by Sergeant Robert Early. The scene was now set for one of the most famous and deadly encounters of World War II. The Pershing slowly made its way towards the location of the Panther. It was still outside the cathedral entrance, as if it were its sworn duty to somehow protect this once inspiring symbol of German pride. Also in the vicinity that day was Signal Corps photographer Sergeant James Bates. He was about to capture one of the most famous encounters of World War II on film, his bravery in getting so close to the event easily matching that of the participants. As the Pershing rounded a corner, the gunner, Clarence Smoyer, and assistant gunner John DeRiggi spotted the Panther with its turret and 88mm gun already pointing in the Pershing's direction. For what seemed like an eternity, the crew of the Pershing expected to be hit first, waiting for its turret to grind towards the Panther. While still moving, engines at full throttle, and with the crew of the Pershing screaming, "Fire! Shoot the damn thing!" Clarence let loose the 90mm Pershing cannon. The first shot penetrating the Panther on its flank armour. Those of the German crew still alive exited the crippled Panther. The driver of the Pershing, William McVeigh, brought the Pershing to a stop, and Clarence piled another 2 shells into the now blazing Panther to seal its fate. Thus ends this fateful encounter. Although late to the war, the Allies now had something to take on the advanced weaponry of the Nazis. For what remained of the war, Pershing tanks would play a major role in leading tank companies into battle. Only 3 of the 200 Pershings that made it to Europe in 1945 were damaged by enemy fire, and of those 3, only 1 was a total loss. Arguments still rage on the internet forums as to why the Panther did not shoot first. Some say it was probably the commander being confused as to whether the tank was German or Allied, as he certainly would not have seen one before, or that the Panther had run out of ammo. We will never know the real answer. In the end, it matters not. On that day, no more lives were lost to the Cologne Panther. I have deliberately cut scenes containing graphic mutilation and loss of life captured during these events. They are, however, out there on YouTube if you are that way inclined. We civilians have our armed forces to thank every single day that we do not have to endure such scenes.